Hello, my friends. How are you? My name is Mariah. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and a very, very warm welcome to you if you are brand new. Today, I want to talk about something kind of serious, but not serious as star system. I do have videos about that, but that's why I'm like sitting down because I just want to be chill. I have a little altar here with roses and beauty, and I think we need it. I think we need it for this video. And I don't think I've ever done a video that just talked about this explicitly. So lately, I've been doing a series about the Gnostic texts, which I do intend to continue, but I'm kind of throwing up my own little videos in between there just for funsies. And, as I was reading them, obviously it's Gnostic, so there's going to be common themes throughout those texts, but a theme that has really stuck with me and that keeps like percolating in my mind, and I usually take that as a sign that I need to kind of touch on it more directly, is breaking the yoke of the Archons. That's literally in some of the texts. I believe it is nearly verbatim from the Sophia of Jesus Christ, my latest one that I have posted. I did record, no, that the Sophia of Jesus Christ is one that I've posted. And near the end of it, I don't have the text in front of me. I have something else to share a little bit, but near the end of the text, it's kind of like, I believe that it's supposed to be Jesus kind of talking or narrating, and he says, something along the lines of, "Behold, I have broken the chains of the robbers. I have released you from their yoke." And what that means is he has described the Archons and described the yoke that they have on humanity, and by simply describing that and by sharing that knowledge with people, it severs the tie, it severs the impact that the Archons have on us, because they, and this is in the Gnostic text as well, as they put humans into a deep sleep, and not like the good kind. they I think that's described as like a mist or a fog or something, because that's essentially what happened to them. That's kind of what Sophia did to the head Archon, the Demiurge. She birthed him by complete accident. And if you don't know anything about that story, I'll link a video below that kind of gives you the whole run through of the Gnostic creation story. Also check out Mr. John Lamb Lash's work, nemata.org. His book is incredible. I don't have it here. It's in the other room. I was reading it, and it's amazing. You can also go to, I'll include these links, but fallengoddessscenario.org, and get, he calls them episodes, into your inbox for like 9 days or something like that. I got that and I thought it was really cool, really good info. Anyways, Sophia, the Aeon Sophia, accidentally created the Demiurge, and when she realized what she had done, she kind of sent him away into a mist or a fog, and was like, you go here, I'm busy falling in this galaxy and I don't know what to do. I can't really deal with you right now. So go here, go away, and whatever. So when the Archons put a fog over humanity's eyes, they're replicating that. They don't have any new ideas. Those motherfuckers can only copy stuff. They have no semblance of true life. And to learn about them, to know what they are, who they are, especially who they are to us as humans, is to break that control that they have over us, and to essentially get rid of the fog, get rid of the brain fog that they can put humans into. Now, how do they do that now? It's freaking easy. They can, put people into a trance with TV shows, with media. That's fairly common and fairly normal. And it's definitely happened to me before. It definitely happens in cycles where I'll get into a cycle where I'm just like so caught in the matrix, so to speak. And it's like, I kind of just need to like snap out of it, you know? And I'm not saying that, you know, paying attention to reality TV or media or things like that are necessarily inherently bad. It's just when it stops you from really living a true authentic life and thinking that that's all life is, then the Archons have you, you know, where they want you. They want you to be thinking that, you know, if you're not making $1 million, then you're worthless, because that's what all these people on TV are doing or on social media are doing. And then you get into a guilt trip and a shame trip, and you're producing emotions that are essentially food for the Archons, unfortunately. And if you're in the New Age community, I'm sure this is stuff you've heard of before, of, you know, being food for the grays, or, you know, being energy harvested, stuff like that. Now, where I would like to make an important point is that Archons are the same as gray aliens, are the same as demons, are the same as any essentially negative force that's against human life. They all are rooted in the Archons and the creation of the Archons and the creation of the Demiurge. This is explained in Gnosticism. You can't get these explanations from Christianity. You can't get these explanations in any Abrahamic religions. I don't really think there's any other religion. You might find some truths in mythologies that you can kind of piece together and piece through, and then, you know, find answers there. But there's not really I don't think there's any other instance of what Gnosticism does, especially in Gnostic texts, of just saying like, no, the story that you're used to is wrong, and it was actually written by the Archons because they want to dupe you and they want to trick you. And that's why On the Origin of the World is one of my favorite Gnostic texts, is because it's an alternative of Genesis. And once you read On the Origin of the World, I'll link my video below, it's like, whoa, was Genesis written by the Archons? Like, yeah, it was, unfortunately. The Old Testament was written by, now, I don't want to say like Archons and give you the image of like these just ugly beings writing it down. No, they were written by humans who were under the control of the Archons, who, you know, who think that they were promised certain pieces of land and that it's owed to them and that there's chosen people and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that is all part of the dupe. Like, you're getting duped right now, and people don't want to hear that. Unfortunately, they really don't want to hear it, because many people have lived their whole lives following these tenets of, you know, the 10 Commandments, and that's all there is. And then you follow this and you'll be good in the afterlife and nothing's going to hurt you, and just turn the other cheek, take another slap, let the enemy just beat you down and don't do anything about it. You know, who would say that other than your enemy? The point of being a good human is to understand that we already have the moral compass within us, and that we can make good choices. And even if we make mistakes, that's fine. It's okay. It's human. It's just a matter of correcting those mistakes. Now, if you really follow your own moral compass, then you'll know that, you know, murdering another human is not in alignment with that, and it doesn't feel good, and it's not what you should be doing. You know, it's people, and, you know, and this is people who follow the Abrahamic religions, they think that if you don't have the code that they want you to follow, then everybody's just going to kill each other. It's just going to be awful. And like, that's just not true, because every human being has a moral compass. Now, if they get corrupted at birth, then, you know, they're from a line of corruption, and it has to be healed, you know, and that's essentially what the Archons want. They want humans to get to a place where they don't realize the damage that they're doing to themselves, so that they can keep harvesting that energy and keep literally harvesting emotions. Like, it sounds blasé, or that it's not really anything. It's like, oh, whatever, the Archons will just take my emotions, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, now you feel like shit. And that's what they want from you, so that you make poor decisions and you don't follow your moral compass that is innate to you, and then you pay the money and outsource all that stuff and spin your wheels and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what they want you to do. They're not really after, you know, they, like, one, they can't really be here on planet Earth. That's why they have to work through humans. But they just, like, their MO is for humans to not thrive. So anything that can like help their mission for humans to not thrive, they will do. Anything that stresses you out, anything that makes you in a poor emotional state, that's what they want, and that's what they're doing, you know. And it's just, it sounds like it's not really meaningful, but it is, because it's your life, and if you're not living in alignment with your true self, you're not going to receive your true desires, and you're not going to unlock the next level of where you need to go. And you know, and the our planet, Aeon Sophia, Gaia Sophia, wants us to live our spiritually endowed lives, and we have been given the opportunity to open that up and to co-dream with our planet and experience true beauty and true care and true love. But if we're following, you know, what the Archons want us to follow and all the bullshit, then we don't get to that point, and we don't fulfill that with our planet. And, you know, and then I think that's when we kind of just get recycled back in and have to do it again, or we don't, you know, who knows. But that was a lot of blah blah to say that the Archons want you in a poor emotional state. Okay? So you have the choice to be in that emotional state or not. And I know you could say you're so far off in mental illness, or you're so here and this and whatever. And it's like, well, there are probably changes that you can make to get you to another place that then you can take another step and take another step and take another step. You know, I've seen it in my own family, you know, and I have a family member who was just so mentally depressed and just not with it, and he just needed space to unwind, and he went cold turkey and turned his entire life around. And you know, he doesn't struggle with the same things. He just needed the space to be himself. And you know, and I know that not everybody has that opportunity, but if you make choices in alignment with that you want to be well, Gaia Sophia sees that, and she can provide you with opportunities, but you have to say yes to those opportunities. You have to take those opportunities. And so when we know that the Archons exist, when we know where they come from, when we know that their whole MO is just for humans to not live fulfilled lives, they want you to be unfulfilled, they want you to be empty, then we can understand that it's like, okay, well, it's actually not that serious. We don't need to be in those emotional states, and we can control them. We can make these motherfuckers do work for us. Because as humans, we have the upper hand. Humans were intended. Humans were created with intention. We were endowed spiritually. We were given bodies that can be on this planet. We were raised alongside our planet and can work with her in a way that is so intimate, we nearly miss it every single time. And I have other videos about that as well, connecting to Gaia Sophia and just connecting to nature in general. That's what I mean. And what brought this to my attention is I was listening to a podcast episode from Mysterious Universe. I love that podcast. It's so good. And I was listening to an episode that was like, in so many words, it was essentially this guy who they were reading from a book, and this was stories of his childhood, and he was receiving these internal messages from like a lot of beings when he was just a kid. And there was one point where he went out into nature and he heard this like demon voice, and he said it was low and just like not friendly. And the voice was saying that, you know, if you worship me, I can give you all these treasures. I can give you gold. I can give you whatever you want. And the kid was raised Christian, so he, you know, had his own beliefs. He's like, I'm not gonna fall for this. And, you know, kudos to Christians for that. You're not falling for that stuff, whatever. And there was at some point where I think he was praying to like Archangel Michael or something like that. And he received a message from Archangel Michael that just said like, you can direct him. Like, don't take his treasure, but you can control him. And then this kid was just like, I'm not going to worship you. And now I control you. And you're going to make that storm that you just brought spontaneously go away. And he did. And the story is is essentially just that. Like, as soon as the kid, like the child, like flipped it around and just assumed the upper hand with this demon, the demon had to do all his bidding. And I think a $50 bill flew by, but this being in the 50s, I think they said that that amount of money was like $600 just laying on the floor, you know. And also another story that I wanted to mention from the Bible, from Genesis, is Genesis 32. Jacob wrestles with God. And you might know the story. It's pretty short. I'm just going to read it. That night, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons. Damn. And whatever. He went here, whatever. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. And then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" And then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip. Weird, it's a human. Because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. So, a lot to unpack in that little passage, but yeah, I also am in my track pants. And like, that is in the Bible. That is in Genesis, that Jacob, a man, wrestled with God and overpowered God and said, "No, I control you. You have to bless me." All he got apparently was a minor injury where he had to limp away. And so what does that say about the God of the Old Testament? What does that say about humans? If a human can wrestle with God and win, then what is your God? Who is your God? And, you know, besides the fact that I don't think this God of the Old Testament is really anybody of any true power, because like the story of being able to assert your dominance with a demon, Jacob did that in the Bible. The story is in the Bible. There's definitely more than one story. I just thought that was interesting to bring up, that Jacob wrestled with God and got him in a headlock or some shit and said, "Bless me, bless me." And it's like, I don't really know if you want that man's blessing, who's supposed to be God. So it was like, I don't know, you could think of it as, you know, this was just a man the whole time, but I think it's a very interesting story. And it also just further outlines that humans have the upper hand. Humans can decide at any time, at any point, to be like, whoa, wait, no. I'm gonna fight with you until you bow to me, motherfucker. And that is why humans can work with demons, and this is something that humans do. This is what humans who are in a lot of power do. They meet and they summon demons. And there might be different ways to do it. I know sacrifice is required. There's a cult sect in the UK somewhere that, I don't know historically if they still do it, but historically they would sacrifice a cat, open up a portal, demons would come through, and then the demons would do their bidding. So these are Archons. All you have to do is direct them. And being human, and I believe that you have to be a human that is really, 1, grounded, 2, you've opened up that spiritual seed within you, also called your nous, and that intelligence, your intuition. It's like, as soon as you do that, the Archons know that you're more dominant than them. The Archons know that you're more powerful than them. It's just they want you in this fog that they've put so many people in. They want you to stay there. That's why they're pumping messages all the time, pumping you with drugs, pumping you with shitty food, pumping you with shitty television and, you know, shitty messages, so that you don't see through the fog and wake up and are like, wait, no, actually you work for me and you're gonna go bring me money and you're gonna go do this, that, or the other thing, or you're just gonna leave me the fuck alone. You know, that's my favorite one. I just, you know, if I'm ever feeling like really attacked, you know, by anything, and it happens to me often, not often, but like if it happens to me, it's often in sleep or, you know, before I go to bed or something like that. And I will get into a state where I'm like scared, you know, where I'm like, like, woo, and, or I'm getting like just really shitty images behind my eyeballs or something like that. And then I'm like, wait, hold up, stop it. And I just go like, nope, I flush myself with white light and it's gone, it's done. You know, it really does not take that much, but they don't want you to know that. They want you to think that you need to be so twisted and like the world is ending and there's no one else to save you other than this god that apparently you can wrestle. And once you wrestle like him, then he's gonna bless you. That's weird. And, you know, it's just because they just don't have the same power that humans do. Humans have so much power. And when you align your power with the power of your planet, when you co-dream with your planet in this reality that is a dream, this dream we call reality, you are unstoppable. Honestly. And there might be things like you might not get what you want all the time. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's probably a blessing from the planet herself saying like, wait, where is this desire coming from? It's not a true desire, you know? And Gaia Sophia is that desire. She is that enlivening you. She is your inner voice. She is that wisdom. So, and she's also feeding it back to you as reality, as the dreamer of your reality. So you can really trust your gut instinct. You can really trust your like desires of your deepest heart. And it, you know, you can't really trust like a fleeting desire, you know, that might just be a little archontic intrusion that you got to go, okay, whatever, you know, and you can tell the difference by how it feels in your body. If you are in a state of panic and you're like, oh my God, I need to do this, I need to blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, right now, they're like sucking the energy from you. If you can just pause, get to a place of grounding, go for a freaking walk, do some meditation, flush white light through your system, and then think, okay, what do I need? Then we're cooking. Then you're really in a space where to receive your desires, you don't have to do that much work. You just have to get to that space so that Gaia Sophia can then feed you within the dream of reality. She can feed you your desires back to you and you can actually receive them. Because if you're in a state of panic and distress of thinking that you have to get everything done, one, you don't, you can't, you aren't. you are not responsible for the oxygen in the air. You know, you're not responsible for all the water on this planet. There is a divinity that is here that is doing that for you, and she wants to support you in all ways. In ways that are, you know, material, for sure material. And we just have to get to a place where we can receive it from her. And it's probably not going to look like what you planned in your head because, you know, that's just not how things happen. But if there is a true desire, like, and this is why I talk about manifesting relationships, because that was such a true, real desire for me. And I met my fiance in a way I could have never fucking planned for, in a way that I didn't plan for. As soon as I dropped my plans for how I was going to meet the person that I'm still with today and was going to be in a wonderful relationship, as soon as I dropped those plans, Guy was like, okay, and here he is, and done. You know, it was like I had just gotten to a state of receptivity, of fun, of joy, of dance. I was literally dancing, and that was exactly when I could meet him, you know. And I you know, I talk about Gnosticism, I talk about manifesting love, but I think the two are connected. And, you know, just getting yourself to a place of calming the body, and being open and joyful is the antidote to any archontic presence at all. We really, honestly, first of all, don't really need to pay attention to them, but we can direct them. We can fucking wrestle them and win. And it's like, you know, you're probably not going to meet a guy on the street who is the demiurge or an archon, and then you wrestle them into submission, and then they bless you. I don't know what kind of blessing they could give you. And it's just, if I would just love, everybody could realize, and myself too, I'm talking to myself when I make these videos, I'm talking to myself. If we could just realize how unserious it is, and that, like, yes, our planet is here and dreaming us alive, and that is very serious, and that is a wonderful thing. But she can really handle her own. She's kind of got this. And when we choose to align with her, that's when she, like, takes us in, and she's like, okay, you know, let's really do this together. Let's co-dream together. Let's make beautiful things together. Let's, you know, your real true expression can come through, and your real passions and your real imagination, your real desires, all of them can be realized when you're in alignment with our planet, and when you're in alignment with wisdom, with the Holy Sophia, with the Aeon Sophia, you know, and just that in and of itself. That's why I talk more about that, and knowing that really stops the Archons dead in their tracks, because they don't want you to know that you're from the same mother, but we were intended, and they are like the weird bastard son that's like half deformed and can't really do that much. They want you to think that, you know, it's the other way around, but it's not, because all they can do is mimic and make stupid shitty copies. And once we as humans realize, like, no, humans are the real deal. Humans have so much amazing potential and so much power just in and of ourselves, then we can turn that on, and we can direct, and we can command that these little demons, you know, do work for us, or go away, or, you know, leave us alone, or, you know, like I said, you can make them do your bidding, and people do. That's what secret societies do. That's how they make a lot of fucking money. But they give more of themselves to these archons. And I think that's the distinction, is, you know, they want your energy. They want you to worship them, because they would love nothing else than for humans to give all of their free will to them. Like, that's what they want from humans, and they want us spinning our wheels and doing nothing of value. And then, you know, and then they give us money and stuff like that, because they don't care about that. It doesn't matter to them. And then, you know, we think it matters to us, and, like, yes, supply and support matters to us, but it can be, you know, in many different ways. But there are groups of people that work with demons specifically, and they command them, but they give more of themselves to get money in return. So I don't know how far you want to go into that. I'll leave that up to you. But for now, if you take nothing else from this video, just know that you as a human always have the upper hand against the demons, against the archons, against the greys. And all you have to do to realize that is know who and what they are, which we've discussed. Know that they can't really be here other than work through humans. And once we know that and identify that they are just our weird bastard cousin who wants us to not have anything and wants to take it all away from us, we just go like, wait, what if I just, like, ignore you? And what if I was just happy? And what if I just leaned in to my own potential and my own magic as a human? And it's like, poof, they go on to the next person who maybe hasn't heard that message. And hopefully one day The yoke of the robbers will be broke from all humans, but this is the same message that is in the Nag Hammadi Codices that I'm telling you today. The yoke is easily broken. The yoke is easily broken. Just by watching this video, it is broken for you. And with that, I bid you adieu.